Start off. Okay.
Yeah,
So should we start off?
please.
Okay. Hello and a warm welcome to everyone on this series of Optimism Unlimited with a very specific motive of igniting the optimistic attitude. All of us have been through this 3 months of pandemic and there is a fear of unknown. We've been struggling, so we decided why not start this series. And today on board we have one of the most dynamic persons I've ever met, Mr. Atul Khirwadkar. He's the CEO of Kalyan Janata Sarkari Bank. Extremely dynamic, and his Facebook page starts with "I'm an eternal optimistic." So, good morning, sir, and welcome on
Morning,
board
morning,
of this
morning.
series.
Mm.
We hope your inputs and ideas will help entrepreneurs like us, a lot of employees, a lot of businessmen. So, shall we start, sir?
Yeah, sure, sure.
Okay. So, Atul, sir, you have a brilliant career of 36 years. You started off as a clerk in 1982. You were promoted as an officer, and if I start reading your profile, it would take me more than an hour. You have touched all the profiles of the banking sector. One very interesting aspect which I saw was in every profile of yours, there was HR and training. That got me really interested. So, why are you so closely associated and why do you find this so passion?
Uh, Good morning. Thank you for taking me on board with you. It's always pleasure to interact people who think very aggressively and positively. Uh, my CV is something which tells you about me, but it doesn't tell everything about me. I have always believed that the times or the difficult times or the good times don't last. Even good times don't last. Now, when we know that the times are not lasting, we need to have an approach to a life and to what we do in a very different way. And I have always believed that any institution, whether it is bank or anything, it's the minds which function within the organizations are the key. And if you work on the minds of the people, this particular organization to which I am associated has done wonders. It is the average mind which thinks differently, do things differently. I have hundreds of such examples where the mind is opened up and things have moved to a different trajectory altogether. And I quote simple examples. For example, I became general manager in this bank or a CEO in this bank maybe 10 years ago. And our business was around 700 crores, and we had around 300 people, 350 people we had.
Okay.
We had same set of banking regulations, same set of banking policies, with the same set of rules, with the same number of people. We are today 5,000 crores. So journey of
Wow,
10 years, fine.
that's
Who did
phenomenal.
this? This 300, 400 people were the key players. So what was the key that we played around? During our previous conversation, you said something about that the sky is the limit. I believe even the sky is not the limit. It is the mind that is the limit.
True.
The moment you cross that limit of your mind, you can do wonders. I have seen ups and downs in business every now and then. And as far as typically the cooperative banking industry, I'm associated with the last 25, 26 years. I have seen that this industry has never seen the stability. Almost like a cyclical movement. Every another year, there is some or the other crisis.
True.
This year is, of course, a year of crisis. And
Absolutely.
this is precisely where, if you work on the minds of the people, you can handle any challenge. And there being no scientific approach or a scientific method to work on minds, it's only the experiment. Every time you do a different kind of experiment on the
Okay.
mind and you cajole them to listen to you and
Okay.
see the change that it takes place. Basically, if the mind is opened up, I see no difficulties in handling any of the challenges. This concept I tasted for almost last 15, 20 years that has enabled us to grow.
Okay.
And this was a very interesting aspect of my life where you work on with the minds and I mean, there is a popular maxim that you can work with the like-minded people. It's not so.
It's not so.
Like-minded people are there, but then it is important for you to bring them on a platform where all minds think of their potential and their capabilities. That I found very interesting, and I worked a lot on that. So far, therefore, I have reached in a different dimension, but then in a very positive way. Uh, Today, we are floating very strongly.
That's amazing, sir, because I remember when the pandemic had started off, I had read one of your posts which had said that any of the staff members who want to reach me out with any problem, I'm here on this number 24 by 7. I think that must have given a lot of courage to your staff in all this period.
Yeah, yeah. It has indeed given a lot of courage because normally in any organization, uh, people tend to avoid interacting with the CEO directly.
True.
And here is what I do is that I almost know all the 500 peoples by their first name,
That's
and
amazing.
they are in a position to reach out to me for any of their difficulties.
Okay.
Typically, we are in a business where we handle people's money, and when we handle people's money, many foreign banks and many multinational banks have a concept of whistleblower in their organization.
Mhm.
I worked against the whistleblower concept for the simple reason it is a trust and faith that ensures that you don't need a whistleblower.
True.
The moment I wrote that, I remembered communication to all my employees, which I did 5 or 6 years ago,
Mhm.
wherein I opened myself like that my doors are always open and you can talk to me anytime and
Mhm.
on any topic, not necessarily that of a bank, but your personal topic also. And that has enabled us to closely weave the bonds that exist amongst the employees. Yes, there could be cadres, there could be 4 or 5 DGMs, 4 or 5 AGMs, chief managers, and everything. But then bringing them on one particular ground, disregarding the hierarchy that normally the tailor has introduced,
Mhm.
has enabled us to work in a very cohesive way.
That's amazing. So, sir, when this pandemic for the past 3 months was happening, a lot of bankers were complaining that they haven't been acknowledged, they haven't been appreciated in spite of putting their lives in danger. What was it at your organization?
Uh, I believe that I had posted one small article on this, and which I circulated to all my employees also. There was a clamor of sort that the prime minister or the finance minister is not talking anything about the
Okay,
bankers
right.
who are taking a risk and they should be appreciated, this and that. I mean, there were
True,
several articles on that, and I
true.
personally felt that as a banker, we all work in a very protected and a convenient environment. As compared with the doctors and the nurses and the healthcare workers, they are more exposed than what the bankers are.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, I personally felt that the credit to the COVID fighters should be given in a due way. I have no intention to say that bankers are not risking their lives. That's not my view. But the point is, the risk they encounter is more severe than what the bankers are encountering. And therefore, if the credits are given to these healthcare workers, doctors, and who are working tirelessly to cure the people, that's where the credit is due. And even if whether the Nirmala Sitaraman and Pantabran Narendra Modi says good about bank or not, of course, politically, they did a correcting after 2 weeks' time. They praised the bankers as well. Because ours is a banking-driven economy. Now, if
True.
bankers don't contribute, economy will not push. Almost 70% of our economy is run by through the banks, through the medium of banks. And therefore, they thought it politically correct to praise the bankers. But I personally believe that in the current scenario, when the situation is uncertain, there is no light at the end of the tunnel. You don't know what's going to happen next tomorrow.
True.
The best and the foremost thing which we did is that we built a confidence. We built a confidence wherein we ensured all our employees that we are all with them. And we didn't simply use the words, we acted. For example, we ensured that once the lockdown started, we reshuffled the entire HR from irrespective of our policies. For example, we ensured that everybody is placed at a branch or at a center where he can walk down. He did not travel.
Okay.
So almost 150 transfers we did out of the blue.
Okay.
And secondly, what we did was that we said that since the public transport system is down, if you travel on your own personal vehicle, we'll fund you. We'll fund you the actual cost of your traveling. Now, this was not a normal thing for us to do, but then we said that we will do this. Third thing we did is that we ensured their life. In the first week itself, when the IRDA guidelines as far as the COVID virus were not clear, we insisted on our insurance partners that we want to cover all our employees, whether he attends the office or otherwise.
Okay.
So that was one of the big things we did. The fourth thing we did was we allowed our employees to enjoy the moratorium, which we had given to all our customers.
Okay.
So that was one of the area where we made them cashless. The another part was that we granted certain soft loans to the people who were really needing it. Despite all these measures, there could be certain things. Two of my branches were affected by the COVID patients being identified from one of our staff members. What we did, we replaced the entire team. We pulled people from other centers and we ensured that the functioning keeps on going. Of course, we are digital. We have almost all the digital products, so that absolutely enables us or helps us in doing the routine banking thing. But then these measures ensure that with the support of the COVID-19 guidelines in terms of hygiene and sanitization and protective gears and all that, the employees got a confidence that the management is completely backing them. For any reason, if somebody is reflecting the symptoms, COVID-like symptoms, we granted them leave, which is a special leave, not limited to his normal leave. So these measures completely change the environment. Now my people are saying, let us start complete full-fledged functional. I am little bit worried because I find that the number of cases would now grow with the unlock 1 being placed or being started now. And that's where we have to take more care. Rather than throwing everything to the winds, let us restrict a little bit, because once you save the lives, economy will be taken care of automatically. No issues on that.
So it is the message gone to your employees was the management is taking care of them. That I think plays a very important role in any institute. When you know that you have the support, somebody is there to help them out. That just changes everything.
Right.
So what do you think are the challenges right now for cooperative banks particularly?
Medha, let me tell you, if I start talking of challenges, I'll be taking your 1 hour. but to limit it to the very limited aspect is one of the popular article which I wrote for the Indian cooperatives, and just put a couple of excerpts from there. I said, I'm saying this, the bankers, the banking fraternity or the banks in India are currently not facing the hit of or the after effects of COVID or the slowing down of economy. This is my view. Why this is? Because the banks have been insulated for 180 days from the 1st March to 31st of August. Because of moratorium, everything has been virtually standstill. The real problem for bankers will start after the 31st of August. Now, here is a case where the banks are not being given what they should be given. What is it that banks are looking at? Banks are simply looking at tweaking of certain norms. And this tweaking for a short period, say 2 years or something like that. I wrote an article to the Institute of Chartered Accountants as well, where I said that this is the time where we need to look for granting accounting gifts. Now, what is an accounting gift? Accounting gift is nothing but relaxation from the present normal norms of regulation by the regulating entities. Now, exemptions from certain norms by the regulator will ensure that next 2 years we survive and after 2 years we grow. There won't be any growth for the next 2 years. It's writing on the wall. That being the story, if the accounting gift is given, for example, I know that the regulator will not give this because what the governor has said is this, that they will ensure that the banks don't suffer any dent in their bottom line and they will take calibrated measures. Now, this being a broader statement by the governor, we all trust him and we believe that a lot of things would come up as we move forward. The current year is gone. 2021 is financial year is gone, virtually gone. You will have negative growth, or even if you ensure that you make a little profit, you are a highly successful banker. Having said that, what I feel is that we need regulatory relaxations. We need active participation in the package that the government of India has rolled out. We need consideration on at least 10 different regulatory guidelines which either are required to be suspended or are required to be modified in line with the current situation as it exists. Having said that, I believe that a lot of things are now currently pending with Reserve Bank of India, and I'm extremely hopeful that these would come into play as things evolve. Because what I'm reading is this, that the peak of the COVID-19 cases has not yet reached, and that is likely to reach by mid-July. Earlier, the World Health Organization was saying that peak would be around 10th of June, but that doesn't seem to be the case. I'm only worried that like Iraq or like Argentina, we should not roll back the unlock. And Iraq and Argentina virtually clamped lockdown once again because the number of cases grew geometrically. So that's the major worry which I find. The moment you find that today I heard that the state government is asking the Ministry of Railways to start the local trains in Mumbai. I personally believe that will be a havoc. Yeah. And that havoc, if at all it has to be avoided, we have to wait. Doesn't matter, economy absolutely goes to shambles. Doesn't absolutely matter. What is important is saving the lives, because once it spreads, you have no control because there are no medicines, and it will be almost another 1 year or so before we get the vaccines. And they should not hurry up in starting the schools, starting the colleges, starting the public gatherings. They should continue to maintain a strict vigil. Now, this situation can be won only if we restrain ourselves. The mask and the sanitizer is now a life for the rest of our lives. That we have to understand and be in sync with the challenges which are coming before us.
So you come across as a very strong and dynamic leader. So what do you think are the main attributes of leadership? You know, something which a leader should have.
I personally believe that leaders have to keep on learning. And if you keep on learning and keep on reading, not watching TVs and all, keep on reading, that makes you more mature, because that gives you several understanding of several areas, and not restricting yourself to your sector. Readings in other areas is also equally important. And second is, which I find is that whether you have a sensitive mind, if you have a sensitive mind, you can find just and fair solutions to any problems that you face. There are rules. Rules would be there. There's no issue on that. Without rules, you cannot survive or grow in a systematic way. But then there is one word in English which says that you should circumvent. Without breaking the rule, if you can accommodate people or accommodate a situation in a proper way. And this circumvention is a different skill. And this different skill you get as a leader only if you are alive and agile. Are the two things which I find very strong a leader must have.
That's brilliant. You said about reading. I have yet to come across a CEO of a cooperative bank who reads Robert Ludlum and Godfather at the same time. I mean, I was so surprised that it's amazing. I mean, one wouldn't really expect these kinds of books promise you, I could be kind of, being opinionated about it. But I was so surprised, pleasantly surprised, when I saw that these were the kind of books you were reading.
Yeah. Uh, I was lucky. My parents have brought me up like this.
Okay.
My parents, my mother as well as my father, were voracious readers.
Okay.
They were absolute movie buffs.
Okay.
So these are the two areas where I have also grown very strongly. My personal library has books around 6,000 from different genre, right from crime
Wow.
thriller to non-fiction books, and you name it, I have it. Because I believe that I have now, over a period of time, developed a habit of remembering a book and picking up a section which touches your chord in difficult times. I learned to speak English by reading Alistair MacLean, and
Oh.
his style of English was absolutely fantastic. He died in 1987. That's another story. But then it is the books that has made me or enabled me to broaden my vision and horizon. So books is something which I cannot personally afford to discontinue. I still, whenever I travel to various destinations, I make ensure that I purchase at least one book.
No.
So that is the only bad habit I carry.
Okay. Would you like to quote some any book which is personally close to your heart?
There is one book, Medha, which still continues to influence my life and my thinking. The book was written somewhere in 40s, 1940s. I do not know whether you heard the name of Ayn Rand. Ayn Rand had written a series of books. She was a Russian girl, and because of the communist regime, she migrated to US, and then she wrote about free market and free economy. There is one book of hers, which is a very small book, some 80, 90 pages book, The Virtues of Selfishness.
Oh.
Every time I read the book, I get different meaning. The average reader will not be able to understand because it is so fantastically written. And there is one fictional book that is Atlas Shrugged. Now, Atlas Shrugged, she wrote somewhere in 40s. Today we are in 2020. The characters and the events are still relevant. There is a monologue from one of the actors, one of the characters in that book. He talks about money, and that monologue is for 12 pages. You are so impressed. Every time I open that book, I know the page number. I read those 12 pages
That's
and get
amazing.
immensely inspired.
That's amazing. So, how do you manage this work-life balance? Because through all what I have been observing of you, I've never seen you tilt towards negativity or a low in energy. There's always that freshness and enthusiasm about you. How do you manage it?
Uh, I don't know. Perhaps it requires some kind of DNA adjustments. And
Okay.
I'm thankful to my parents that I have inherited this DNA from them. Uh, Having said that, you require N2 to believe that what you're doing is for the best of the people around you. I wouldn't say that I do it for the society and all that blah blah. I don't want to say that. There are very few people in my life. I do it for them. Number one. Now, if you are impressed, personally impressed, then you can do a lot of wonders, provided that your efforts in assimilating things is consistent. It is not like आज कर लिया कल
Hmm.
देखने के बाद में, and if you do
Hmm.
that, you're not consistent and you won't get the results. It is the consistency that enables you to get the results. As far as the N2 is concerned, I have believed that I have to give a demo effect.
Mm-hmm.
The people who are working around me, if they find me down, they will be down. So professionally, I cannot afford to be down. I have to consistently be up. I have to consistently be cheerful, whether I like it or not. As a banker, you were also a banker. You know that when once we reach office, whether it is branch or regional office, we do behave artificially because we're paid to behave artificially. I cannot carry my domestic issues in the branch or in my office. For the simple reason there has to be a cutoff. Now, the more skillfully you handle this cutoff, the more you will find that you are enthusiastic 24 by 7.
That comes pretty naturally to you. It doesn't seem to be an effort, sir. Is it because of the
Probably.
consistency?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. It is. Consistency is one of the hallmark
Okay.
that has enabled me to handle things, difficult things,
Okay.
very easily.
Okay. So another thing what I was really wanted to know is how do you manage your time? You are techno savvy, you're social media savvy, you're around everywhere with just those 24 hours. How do you manage to fit in so many things?
I must tell you, Vida, that I'm thankful to my wife who allows me the absolute freedom to do whatever I want.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
That has enabled me to do a lot of things.
Okay.
I sleep for hardly 5 or 6 hours,
Okay.
and that is because if your mind is working on several things, then a little sleep, sound sleep helps you in handling all the things. Then you are left with 17 or 18 hours.
Okay.
Of the 17 or 18 hours, there are somewhere around 7 to 8 hours I spend in bank.
Okay.
Once I come to the bank, I don't do what I want to do. I do what others want to do.
Okay.
I mean, I'm at their disposal. What they want me to do, it's that kind of thing. So those 7 8 hours, that leaves me say 2 hours for the routine course. I spend on 2 hours, morning and evening,
Okay.
and then I get at least 4 to 5 hours to do what I really want. Here I do a lot of reading. Here I do a lot of watching of movies. Here I do a lot of listening to the music. I do all those things that give me mental peace. And I do only 5 minutes yoga. That's all. I do only 5 minutes, few asanas
Okay.
that enable me to remain healthy. I'm heavily diabetic. I'm on insulin, but that has
Okay.
never blocked my activities anywhere. I take insulin twice a day, but that's it. Then the energy, your mind gives you energy. Whatever your body mechanism or the body chemicals are, they get adjusted automatically if your mind is working on them very strongly. You remember there was one movie, very famous movie of Amir Khan, Three Idiots, and there is one terminology here: all is well, all is well.
All
That
is well.
terminology became famous very little later on.
True.
But then how these three words can impact a situation, we have seen that in the movie. I have been experiencing all these things all my life. So I trust the moves from heart. That has helped me very strongly.
So a lot of people get discouraged very fast. You know, a lot of there are failures, there are problems, and the discouragement level is extremely high. Kind of people tend to give up, especially the generation from the present generation or even our generation is when things don't go your way. There is discouragement, there's failure, and then people think they have reached a dead end. How do you overcome such situations?
There is a simple trick in such situations. And the trick is keep quiet, look at other things. There is a problem which you are not in a position to solve. There is a situation you are not in a position to correct. There are people who are not listening to you. I mean, all such situations can make you negative. The best way is to take them away from your mind, focus on other positive things. I have almost 99% of times, all these people come back to you and you have a positive way of looking at the things, whether it is a situation, whether it is a problem, whether it is a challenge, whatever. Now, what happens is that people are not in a position to jettison this dead weight from their minds. The moment they learn to jettison this dead weight from their mind, they can move forward. Because if you're stuck in a situation and if you keep on working on that situation and the situation is not unfolding the way it should, you should leave it at that. And probably there are several instances where you keep quiet. Things happen in a very different way. Just ignore. The power of ignorance is such a useful power that you can strongly emerge at a particular point of time. There is always one factor, that is 0.10% factor which works in your life, that is luck. That's 0.10% factor at times can become very dominating and can affect your entire mindset and the entire life game plan. So let us work on that. Let us learn to ignore, learn to sidetrack. All these things don't come so easily. But then if you decide that अरे यार ये नहीं हो रहा है, तो मैं दूसरा जो हो रहा है उसको देखना चाहिए. I mean that's where I see. The moment I do that, there are absolute solutions. It is not a problem where there is no solution.
What we try to do mostly is change the situations or circumstances, which generally not necessarily can be done. I think the more struggle is there, wanting to change the situation, I think changing the mindset, like you aptly said, is more important. Another thing I would like to ask you, sir, is what all would you like to tell our viewers? You know, something which would help us in a very long way.
Uh, what I believe is that if at all you want to look for a horizon, have trust, have faith, and whatever that happens happens for a reason. Nothing happens without a reason. And I would like to quote one small episode from a very popular movie. I do not know whether you have seen that Dil Chahta Hai.
Mm.
Dil Chahta Hai, America is one of the best movies. And at the end of the movie, he doesn't get his heroine. He is not in a position to get his heroine. So his father asks him one simple question. कि अगर वो किसी दूसरे से शादी कर रही है तो उसकी कुछ वजह हो सकती है. Did you ask her? And then the climate changes. So everything has a reason. And if we are bold enough to understand and assimilate the reason, I think we will be in a better position to live for the future as well.
That's amazing. So you said bold. What I have observed about you is, you know, you always take a very strong stand. You're very clear about your opinions without being always politically correct. That requires a lot of courage. How do you do it?
Intensity of involvement enables me to do that, is what I believe. I mean, if I believe that this is good for the sector, I have had guts to speak to the chief ministers or the CGMs or the Reserve Bank of India bosses in a very blunt way, polite way, but blunt way. Now, when I don't have to talk to them directly and I have to express in words, I'm very forthright and blunt. Some people like it, some people don't. But then what I have always said is that if you do not like what I have said, you need to contradict me, correct me. I find that not many people even display the courage to correct the things. That's where our society is struggling to do that. This goody thing doesn't help always. You have to be very blunt at times because you are looking at the larger picture. I have always done things for the sector, not looking at what my bank needs. So it's the sector, because if the sector grows, my bank is automatically going to grow. So I feel that I express bluntly because that's how I have learned over a period of time. And it's not overnight I have reached this stage. It took me a lot of efforts to say things bluntly before my master's year. Now, when that happens, when you muster up that courage is possible only if because you are forthright, you are honest, and you are not corrupt. These three things give you different power to you as well as to your words that you utter.
Very true. I think, sir, we have started off with a bang, and I'm so glad we started off with you. You appear to be an eternal optimist, and there is so much we could learn for you. So, thank you so much for giving us your time, and we would love to have many more of such sessions.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful day ahead, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.